Welcome back to another episode of FoolCraft. It is the most foolish server in all of the YouTube. Maybe not, but I am certainly foolish when I play on this server. Last episode called this a live stream. It's not a live stream. Let me just check the other screen. Nope, there's no chat on there. We're definitely making a video. I always make silly mistakes, don't I? I'm bound to make some more. I'm just flying around looking at this because we will do some more work on this structure. But I've had a fair bit of feedback. A lot of people saying that it needs more colour. I think that colour might come from the leaves that are going to be hanging over it. But when we build these upper floors, I think we want to put some more colour into it. That's for sure. But for the beginning of this episode, we're going to focus on a couple of bits and bobs that I've done. First of all, in my hotbar, you'll see this fancy thing, the wireless grids. Wireless access to all of my items. What episode are we on? Like 35, and it's taken me this long to get this item. Jeez, there's something wrong with me. I don't know. Anyway, it crossed my mind to make it while I was playing, and so that's going to be nice and convenient. Now, what I've been doing is just setting up some more auto-crafting stuff for our infrastructure. We now have capacitors being auto-crafted over here, as you can see. That's all cool, and while I was ripping up the ground here... fancy sound effects. I'm sure those weren't in the game before the 1.4 update, but yes, those blocks make noises, and I'm sure other ones do as well. One thing that we're struggling with, though, is the middle level capacitor, and also something over here. Yeah, this thing is requiring coal powder. That's something that we need to automate, and with the power we're going to get from our rainbow room, I think it would be smart to expand our Woot project and just have stuff like coal being farmed from wither skeletons around the clock. That'll cost a lot of power, but then we can further improve our infrastructure over here. Anyway, the reason that I created those is so we could make some capacitor banks, the largest one possible, because I did a little bit of a derp in the last episode. Well, I've already discussed some of the other derps that I've made. Oh, that's interesting. I'm doing this the wrong way then, aren't I? We need to clear that. We need to type in capacitor here because I added a recipe for it. And this way we should be able to get all of those. Hi, there they go. They're being auto-crafted. That is fantastic. We're going to take those, and look, the system is making all of these again, which is just fantastic. So, I did a little bit of a derp. I said that the rainbow power would output something like 30,000 RF per tick. This thing outputs 25 million, so I was off by a fair amount. But it got me thinking, how are we going to extract 25 million from this thing? This one has a bandwidth of 30,000. And that's why we're trying out these vibrant capacitor banks. I think those things are going to have to go, and this area down the bottom is going to be a big battery, basically. So if we attach that thing like that, we can see that now the input is 100,000. Nowhere near a million, but we can keep making it bigger and craft more of those things and extract more power at once. So this is going to be our main bandwidth now to power lots of other things. It's sad to say it, but the slime power is probably going to become a little bit redundant. Now, last episode I also mentioned that I got an email from Jamie, who's been helping me with lots of tips. He sent me even more tips, and he's told me how to configure all of these banks correctly. So, for example, this one right here only uses 10. The one on this side uses 10 as well. Some of them only need to use 2 to keep them running, which is really cool. And then there's like one like the Never Star that uses quite a lot. Now we know that this thing will wither you when you run it. I found out that the explosive generator is actually explosive. What I'm going to do now is let's just go like that, and that means this thing should run, and it should continuously run as well. And at some point we should see something explosive happen around here. I've got to say, it made me jump. Oh, there it is. You heard it. I think it's because the bandwidth here is low that it's going to go very slow. So let's set... oh, jeez, there it is. Okay. It's exploded a lot. Let's put it back down. Was it 10? Let's put it back down to 10. So that's the minimum amount you need to keep it running. And I was going to say then it won't explode a lot, but it's still exploding. Anyway, thank you for all of your feedback. Lots of people telling me what I need to put in each of these. So many of them have been configured, like bones are in this one over here. This one requires bread. I haven't automated the creation of this yet, but I thought hay bales would be kind of suitable since both are made out of wheat. So that's what's going to go in the block at the top there. And do you know what? Actually, I don't like the red on that. I feel like if it were just yellow, it would be a little nicer to look at. Let's swap you around like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. You can see the red on the sides though. So yeah, we're taking a few steps in the right direction to getting this set up. But as I mentioned already, this ain't going to be the focus this episode. This episode, we are going to be focusing on our fortress. But not just only the outside, the inside as well. Let's go over to where the entrance is going to be, and you can see, oh, there's some new blocks here, and we're going to be introducing more blocks into our build palette. But don't worry, it's not going to get overcrowded or anything like that. And let's look up and do the big... Wait a minute, there's glowstone in front of the big reveal. Let's move over here and check that out. Yes, there's all sorts of stuff in the way, but you can see a very nice build style here coming together. Very clean, very bright. And we have built one section of it over here, which is our refined storage control panel. This has already been hooked up, and yep, we can access the grid. There is also this fancy painted glowstone back there, and it looks seriously cool. I like this very much. So the idea for this room here was to extend the theme of the basement, but to get rid of this basement-y feel. So if we look at some blocks like this texture, that one, and these ones, they're kind of industrial, they give it the basement feel, and that's alright, but what I wanted to do was include some of these textures on the next floor. And what I've gone and done is use this one right here. We're also using the infernal block, which we see on the outside of the fortress. And then I wanted to bring something bright and clean into this, which is what we've got with the quarried block. And also marble complements that very well. And actually what we have here are two different types of marble, so they don't connect. And I'm loving this design, man. It's really cool. And I've been planning the layout as well, but it's starting to get a little bit dark in here. You can now see how that looks nice and bright thanks to the light coming in. But I guess when we finish the ceiling here, it's all going to be dark on the inside, so we will need to think about lighting. But for now, I'm going to take a little snooze. So a bedroom is actually one of the things that we want to build on this floor. In fact, I've kind of been taking some notes and thinking about all the different things that we need. So somewhere around this central area, I do want to have access to our machines, Ender IO, extra utilities 2, and thermal expansion. We want to build all the different machines and have them on display, and they'll probably be replacing these blocks, and down the corridors you'll be able to go and interact with them. This space here though is reserved for the waste stone, which has been aligned in the middle, so opposite this little nook here we're going to have one for the waste stone. And there are other things to plan out in this area as well. So we've also got a bedroom, a server room, and the rainbow switch, which is to turn the rainbow power on and off. However, it's quite likely we're going to have that thing running around the clock. And the server room is this idea, which we kind of borrowed from Iskal, which I really like. We're going to build a little technical server room at some point in this layout. But the layout is the thing that I've been struggling with a little bit. So over here you'll see another sign saying Mob Farm Selection Panel. So the idea was that this was going to be a T-junction, and all across the back of the wall we could turn on and off all the different farming options for Woot. But then I decided that we were going to have a staircase over here to lead up to the second floor. And that's because I was actually going to put the staircases at the front, but I felt like I was being too symmetrical again, so I thought we could have a staircase on that side and then on that one over there, and this could be another corridor. But I'm actually going to change that. Now when it comes to lining up the corridors, there's another little bit of a problem as well, which is this ceiling. We haven't quite finished it yet, and I think what I want to do is extend this grid like so. So there's always these 3x3 panels, and if we do that, we'll find that this doesn't line up with the floor, so maybe what I'm going to do is change the position of what's going on down here so we can continue with our little grid shapes coming out like this. I'm going to build up these walls a little bit more so we can get an idea of where everything can squeeze in. So this corridor down here is looking very clean, and these stairs are very nice leading up to here. I really want to find a material to go at the top here now. And then at the front here, we might do something you'll see elsewhere around this build. If we do that, we create that pillar texture, and that's quite a nice cut-off, I think. However, it's probably going to be more fitting over here at the front and extending all the way up to the top. That already actually looks very nice because that lines up with these stairs that lead down to the front here. And I like this little ledge as well. It's all looking really good. But anyway, it's night time now. There's something that we need to do. And this is one of those things that I mentioned ages ago that's been on my list for a long time. And this is no bother at all because these fellas stand out. You and your friend over here are coming with me, okay? Now these fellas make a lot of noise, don't they? And I said that I wanted ambient noises inside of the base. What are we at now? 20%. Hostile creatures could probably be a little bit louder. Although I'll probably turn that down actually later, so I can balance the amount of sound that we hear in the base. So I've got some glass here, and I figured what we'd do is just make a little bit of a cage inside here. And we're going to put a blitz in it so we can hear the sounds that it makes. Alright, so in it goes, and quickly glass on top. And we've captured a blitz. I also need to give it a name, don't I, so it doesn't despawn. But now that should make some creepy and eerie noises. And that adds a little bit of ambience to this place. This fella's been name tagged, but he hasn't made a sound yet. That's just the sound of me taking damage. I also can't put the glass block now because I think he's moved over this way a little bit. Yeah, no ambient sounds from the Blitz. That might be something to do with the 1.4 update. I'm very much trying to power through building this. Been doing the grind, placing all the blocks, and I'm like, this thing ain't as close to that as it is on the other side. How is it rubbed up so close? I fly up into the sky and I realise, oh no, I've made a mistake, and I was double and triple checking this stuff while I was lining it up, and somehow just got a little bit confused here. So that needs to be a group of 4 of them, and this needs to stretch over a little bit closer to this wall. Why did I not notice that earlier? Yeah, so we're going to have like a big open area here, and I'm just putting it all in, and a lot of this will change. Like, I don't think we want to have this absolutely everywhere, so it will get broken up a little bit as we add in the different projects in various places. But for now, I'm going to crack on. Crack on with the building and tearing it all down and rebuilding it again. So finally it comes together, and we're going to move on to working on the outside of this building now. But look at that, lovely and clean, all ready for us to move in and start building. I still haven't done the roof though, but I've sussed this one out. Brownstone up the top here, the dark brownstone, which is one of the materials we weren't using on this floor, actually looks really good in the roof, so we're going to throw it in like that, and we get these lag spikes. I think it's because we're blocking this off and it's updating the light below it. I don't know, I've actually gotten quite a few lag spikes from 1.4 where I've been placing blocks, but this is what we're going to go with. Also, you may have noticed the way I laid out the middle bits here on either side means that actually these bits here are going to be like that, which is kind of an oversight, but whatever, it doesn't matter. We're not going to put a lighting fixture on this one, and I didn't mean to do that. We're going to put a lighting fixture on the 3x3 ones, and that looks great, doesn't it? The right amount of depth, the right colour, awesome. If we whack the one in the middle with our chisel, actually, oh, we whack it twice. Okay, then we get a big panel like that, and we're going to put another inverted light in there. And we've used these before, so they fit the theme. I wasn't trying to go here. I was just trying to go down by one. There they are on the walls, so now they can go on the ceiling as well. Okay, it's night time now, and the lighting fixture in here is gorgeous. Like, it's just right. I really do like this. This build has come together ever so well. Now, as we move into this area, you can see how much darker it is without the lights on the ceiling. They do provide a fair bit, don't they? And I love it. I think it's just the right kind of mood for this build. So now for some work on the exteriors. I've just gone around and I've put in the details on this, the shape. You can see all the little bits have been broken away at top and bottom on both sides. And then around here I had to go in and change out all these blocks and try and randomize it a little bit. I've sort of avoided using this one in particular places because, check this out, if we give that a little chisel, it now changes to that, which is kind of bizarre. I think that this texture is a bit hacky or something, because that kind of looks like the vines that's been hung over the top, or maybe not, because there's some colour changes there, but it's quite flat there. I don't know what's up with that. It's just different from last time when we did it, when it basically turned into the other type of block, which is really strange. So I got to go around here and do all of this business again and get the detail in on the top area. We know how all of that works. It's the detail on the... Well, there is a block missing there, and that means there will be a block missing on every side because we copied this all around, didn't we? In fact, when I look from back here, we can see those go 3 across, and do you know what? It don't matter. We're not here to focus on that. We are here to focus on the bottom part, which is currently very flat. And I think what will help us get going here is to remove these blocks like so. As I'm doing this, I'm starting to think, no, maybe not. Or maybe I should have left them at the top there. Let's grab the bits that we just got back from that. I think they are those ones. Let's slap them into that block at the top there. And does that look any better? Not really. It's just a little bit too skinny. It'll probably look good over here. So let's smack out the front of that. Do you know what? Again, probably leave the ones at the bottom. Now that looks alright. We can go forward with that one. But on the corner, not so much. And where else are we going to get some details in here? What if we were to do this going across the sides as well? Like we were to chisel these bits out and give them a bump. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this is going quite how I thought it would. Let's do it on all of these sides so we get this like little cross at the front here. Undo that one. It's alright, it's okay, it's nothing spectacular. Maybe it doesn't even need to be spectacular. Also, what if we were to just put that there? I don't know. Let's play around with this. I think we got the pattern here. On this side, it looks real good. The one thing I don't like is this big flat ledge going all the way down like that, but it looks really awful when you knock it in a little bit. And you can also see the pattern we got at the bottom here has been extended into this space, which makes it unique compared to what's going on over there. And I actually like that a lot. I feel like that really does a lot for it. And I've just realised how much of this I've done. I forgot I went round that side as well. I've just come back round to this side and noticed that there's an awful lot of just these regular stone bricks in here. So I'm trying to replace a few of them and continue building all of this. So I'm just chucking in a few blocks like that. And I think this bit here is incorrect from where I was doing it before. So it's just the one in the middle that is a half, and then the blocks above and below have those on the side, and that's how we get the pattern. Just getting some shut-eye because looking at this at night isn't so great. So first of all, love the details here. Now I'm thinking about what goes on top of this. Originally, this was going to go a lot higher. And then I started to look at this and think, actually, maybe what we should do is level this bit off here and just have the next level take place on the inside over here. And then I started placing blocks in the corner, which makes no sense because I was thinking about leveling that off. And I thought, well, what if we can tie in some of the blocks that are on the inside back to the outside again? What if we had the top area being white and made it look a little bit more like a palace, which is what the white colour I think is going to give you the suggestion of. So then we have this sort of dark and grey and muddy bottom area and then a nice clean thing on top. I really do think it would break the consistency and be difficult to do. So I'm probably not going to go ahead with that, but what I want to do is throw down some different blocks on the corners and walls, different colours, textures, and see if we can get something that resonates. So I'm struggling a bit, struggling to find blocks, struggling to really create a vision of what could go on up here. I was starting to think about maybe putting little mini roofs over the top of this, but I think that'll end up poorly. And trying to include some wood as well. Like something that you see on fortresses sometimes is wooden structures on top because the fortress is the base, and you know that's big and expensive and difficult to build, and then you put something wooden on top. Over here I played around with a few other wooden textures as well. I kind of like this one, it's just a little bit too vibrant I think. But we're going to knock this on the head for now. Do you remember an episode ago there was a new block or mod that I introduced you to? Getting down into this little area is kind of tricky. This thing right here, the Dire crafting table with its crazy crafting grid, and on the side here you can see some of the stuff from the mod that this is from. We use this to craft the Fool's controller, and I've become very curious by this thing because there are some crazy recipes here. Let's click on, I don't know, that thing. Like, I don't know what this does yet, but that's kind of crazy. And I've become very interested in this. It's supposed to be an endgame mod, something that's really mental to do and takes a lot of time and grinding. But some of it, to be honest, looks a little bit on the easier side. I don't know. Like this infinity ingot, like right here, looks kind of mental. That's kind of cheap for us, though, is my thinking. So let's go back to the infinity ingot. These ones around the end here we'll get to in a moment, and then there's the Infinity Catalyst. Now this I'm not 100% sure on, but supposedly these ones right here you get from compressing those blocks using another one. We've seen how we make that, and we get these from loot bags, so it might not be as hard as you think, is what I'm thinking. And I figured, well, we've got to start somewhere with this mod, and this thing right here, the neutron collector, basically generates neutrons out of nothing. You get these pile of neutrons, you turn them into neutronium nuggets and then into ingots, and then yeah, like you can use that to craft other stuff. So this is what's required to make that machine, the neutron collector. All of this very easy with the exception of quartz, which we are yet to farm. We're not farming any of it automatically at all. I take trips into the nether every time we need some, and at the moment, how much quartz do we have? Not a lot. Is that 800 or 300? It's 800. Well, probably enough, and we got some blocks there to craft a thing or two. I was going to say we'll take a trip to the nether, but I'll do that after, and we'll craft this thing up first. So there's no way to shift click in the recipe, which is kind of annoying, but I think that's part of the fun of the mod, right? That you have to do all of this crazy crafting to get what you want, which is actually probably what's going to make it kind of grindy, is putting in the recipe each time. So we can make 6 of those. I think we'll do just that. Apparently I didn't spread the iron out very well though. Let's put some more back over there and let's just shift those out. Oh, apparently you can't shift click it. So yeah, 6 in total. Then I also noticed that these things can be turned into a block as well. Can you do it inside of this thing? No, you can't. You've got to use a regular crafting one for that. Exactly 7 blocks. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, and then that in the middle. And you know what? The sides of the blocks look pretty interesting as well. And another 1, 2, 3. And the tops of the blocks, to be fair. Maybe they should be more out on display if we were to arrange, or sorry, rearrange some of this somehow. But there you go. They are collecting neutrons, I believe. Or do we have to supply them with power? Do I have to wait a long time? I just watched a video on YouTube where someone placed these down and it started generating them straight away, which isn't happening for us. So it's possible that I missed a step here. So I've just gotten back from the Nether, been on a wonderful trip to get an insane amount of quartz, and look at this. Upgraded the amount of machines that we've got, and 24 pile of neutrons. Basically, they generate them, but very, very slowly. I went back and watched the video I was watching before, and I realised that they did a jump cut forward. So it kind of looked like they were just playing, but actually they had let the world, I don't know, just run for a certain amount of time. I'm hoping that this will work with our chunk loaders, so we can keep it loaded. And yeah, and generate loads of this stuff when we're not even playing. So look at all these other pillar designs we have access to. I feel like each one should be marked with something unique to show that like this is a thing here and it's got this little design. That makes it pop a lot more, doesn't it? Let's throw that in there. So that's looking pretty cool now. If we put these blocks on the side, can we get away with more of them there? Yep. What about here? Yes, again. Well, that's fantastic because, well, I need 2 more of those. Do I remember which one it was? Wasn't it that one there at the bottom? No, it was a different one. Gotcha, gotcha. It was that one there. Very fine. I might come back here and change this little setup in the future, but for now we're going to cover up the top like that. I also had this idea that this needed sky access at one point because that kind of looks like a daylight sensor, but that's not the case. I've done the testing, I've figured it out. And now it just lacks light, so I might come back here and put a little light in there. And I think maybe this bit here should actually go, and all the pillars should go to the top. And I like the idea that you can see, yeah, the little daylight sensor type bits on the top. But that's that set up. There's actually one more step that I wanted to try, and this is going to take a little bit of time. But if we grab some item transfer conduits, we're going to need to craft more of those. Let's see if we can automatically take these items out and move them somewhere else. So with this, we'll automatically import any of the neutrons that we get out of this system. So a load of old janky Ender IO conduits over there. And down below in our basement, we have compacting drawers. Now, there's something in that mod. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention it earlier. Look, this has been added to Ender IO. Counting item filter. That sounds fascinating, but I ain't got time to get distracted right now. There is this thing right here, neutrinium compressor, and I thought that might be used for making these ingots and blocks, but actually, as you can see, those are already there. How do we make the block? Ah, interesting. Okay, well, I've got something else to show you now then. So whatever that thing is used for, I guess we'll have to find that out later. If we go down below, and I feel like there should actually be like a more visible block here. I'm going to paint this to something different, like a marble block. But yes, over the side here you can see that I've put these into the drawers. They should automatically come into there now, and slowly we will generate these ingots. But of course, if I'd have put the nugget in there instead, it would have actually compacted it up to a block, which I think is kind of not what we want at the moment, as those ingots get used to craft the tools and other stuff like that. So we've set ourselves on a course for one of the hardest and grindiest mods in the game. I'm not saying that I'm going to directly pursue that, just that it was a fun little project to do, and let's see how far we can go with it before getting annoyed. That was strange because I'm literally thinking, hey, we should change this to a different texture, and then that happened. So that's been changed, and a couple of minutes has gone by. We have neutrons, but the Ender IO item conduits can't take them. Not so good. There was something that we got from this a moment ago, a hopper. It's actually still in my inventory, and I've got none in storage. Let's do a little bit of an experiment then. These things have all been set up to extract, which didn't seem to work. So we place you underneath, and now it goes to 0. That looks like a bug. I'm going to take these. I'm going to take... Oh, we only got 2. Well, that still seems like a bug. And what's going on there? And then there. Strange stuff. Strange stuff. That feels like a good note to end it on. I hope you've enjoyed what we've done over here. By the way, I have one last request. Leave a comment and let me know what kind of project could we do that uses the crazy amount of power we're going to get from the rainbow generator. Leave one down below. I want to hear your suggestions, and that's going to be it from me. So if you've enjoyed it, please do leave a like on the video. As always, thank you for your support. I appreciate it. It does make a difference, and thank you. I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao for now. Bye-bye.